Good morning. It is Wednesday morning, November 3rd. And it is a beautiful morning. Clear skies. I can still see the stars on part of the sky, and then the horizon to my left is has an orange glow to it. The tiny little sliver of the crescent moon is right on the horizon, and there's some streaks of orange clouds. It's pretty spectacular this morning. Mike and Joe, welcome. Jim and Kathy, welcome to you. Kathy Smallwood, good morning. Barbara Richardson, Jonathan Cassis, good morning. Jan Akins, welcome. Steve and Andrea Hauser, good morning. Letitia, good to see you. Daryl and Suzanne, welcome. Alyssa Tucker, bright and early this morning, good morning to you. There's my mom, good morning. Happy Wednesday to you, Alyssa. Lori Agassi, good morning. Debbie King. Carmen, good to see you all this morning. Karen Lowe, good morning. Hope you're enjoying your morning cup of coffee this morning. Dana Kreshock, good morning. Deanne Fine, welcome everyone. Yeah, there's Karen's cup of coffee. Good morning. Karen Faust, good morning to you. So we are in, as I said yesterday, if you missed yesterday's live stream, we are kind of embarking on a journey of the book of Ecclesiastes. And the book of Ecclesiastes is going to basically take the same theme and spin it over and over and over and over again. And I think this is it's okay to hear this message, because it really does represent one of the probably one of the most frustrating aspects of life is finding the secret of contentment. What truly satisfies. And so the writer of Ecclesiastes, which we'll call Solomon, he will examine all there is to be enjoyed about life, all the chief ways that mankind pursues a deep and profound satisfaction, an attempt to do it. And he will conclude time and time again that it's always going to be just out of reach. It's just beyond our grasp. He describes it as chasing after the wind. It's not something that you can grab a hold of with your hand. It's not something you could put in the bank like there's going to be lasting gain. And ultimately he says it's a vain pursuit. And but as fatalistic as that sounds, there is hope. He offers hope in this, that there really is something that does truly satisfy. And so we're going to kind of repeat this theme for a while through the book of Ecclesiastes. And if we read together chapter 1, what we see is what feels like to me I call the treadmill of life. That no matter what you do, no matter how much work you try to accomplish, tomorrow's going to be a new day, and there's just more work to be done. It never is satisfied. The world, life, the expectations of life are never satisfied. We just came off this amazing week, a weekend full of so many good experiences. I'm exhausted. I take Monday off, not really recovered totally yet, but the thing is, there's another Sunday coming with all of its expectations, and you just got to hit the ground and you just got to keep going. This is reality, and Solomon writes about this on a global scale. See how he writes about this. I'm trying to use the available light I have in this dark place. Let me just see if I can get an angle here. He says, "A generation goes and a generation comes, but the earth remains forever. The sun rises and the sun goes down and hastens to the place where it rises. So you'll see this cycle. He goes, it's just going to keep on going. Generations come, generations go. Another generation comes after that. Sun comes up, goes down, comes back up again. It cycles. The wind blows to the south and goes around to the north. Around and around goes the wind, and on its circuits the wind returns. It doesn't stop, it just keeps coming back. All streams run into the sea, but the sea is never quite full. To the place where the streams flow, there they'll flow again. All things are full of weariness. A man cannot utter it. The eye is not satisfied with seeing, nor the ear filled with hearing. What has been is what will be. What has been done is what will be done. There is nothing new under the sun. Is there a thing of which it is said, hey, look, this is new? It's already been done in the ages before us. There is no remembrance of the former things, nor is there any remembrance of later things yet to be among those who come after. In other words, we not only are we on this giant treadmill of these cycles. The picture of a treadmill for me is you're exerting a ton of effort, but you're never really getting anywhere. So it kind of has this hopelessness about it, you know. And the writer of Ecclesiastes is here just talking about how, you know, no matter what you do in your generation, the next generation is going to be rise up. They're not going to remember what you did. They're going to do the very same things, and the generation after, and the generation after. And so he talks about his own wisdom. He says, I, the preacher, have been king over Israel in Jerusalem, and I applied my heart to seek and to search out by wisdom all that is done under heaven. It is an unhappy business that God has given to the children of man to be busy with. I have seen everything that is done under the sun, and behold, all is vanity and a striving after the wind. And now he's going to quote a proverb that is interesting. He says, what is crooked cannot be made straight. What is lacking cannot be counted. And so he's kind of has this fatalistic feel to it. You know, here he has all this immense wisdom, unlimited resources, and he's realizing that he can't do a dang thing to change anything. What's crooked is going to stay crooked. And what's not there, I can't grab a hold of. And he comes to this realization, and there's a kind of an unhappy tone. He says, this wisdom is wearying. He says, how does he say it? Well, I'll just keep reading. I said in my heart, I have acquired great wisdom, surpassing all who were over Jerusalem before me, and my heart has had great experience of wisdom and knowledge. Okay, so I've had all this endless wisdom and riches to figure out. If anybody's going to figure out the secret of life, it's going to be Solomon. He says, and I applied all my heart to the wisdom and to madness and folly, both ends of the spectrum. I perceive that this also is a striving after the wind. You're never going to quite put your hand on it. For in much wisdom is much vexation. And he who increases knowledge increases sorrow. That's another. He quotes another proverb. And so the more you know that you don't know. The more you understand the things about the world, you understand how limitless the world is, how small you are, how limited you really are. And it's a vexing business, he says. So anyway, on that happy note, I hope you have a good day. No, we're not going to end there. So he is really setting the foundation, okay, to the argument he's going to make all throughout this book, 12 chapters of Ecclesiastes, that he's going to set about the pursuit of pleasure, of wisdom, of folly. He's going to make a bunch of observations, and what do we conclude about all of these things? And I think what he's addressing in chapter 1 is the reality of our limitations, that no matter how much you try to accomplish, you will never accomplish enough. We have limits. He's the wisest man. He had the most access to the most resources, and he he was confronted to his frustration that he was still limited. He was only one person in one generation. There's going to be a ton of generations to follow. There was a ton of generations that preceded him. Really, in the grand scheme of things, as great as it is to be king and have all this wisdom, I can't make crooked things straight. I can't grab a hold of things that aren't there. I can't change my course. This idea of this great treadmill, and so recognizing step one of really finding true satisfaction, Solomon is implying here, is accepting our limits. I can tell you by my own experience that I have gone the route of trying to acquire knowledge, trying to do more, and perhaps if I'm just more organized, I will be able to accomplish more. And I do accomplish more. Maybe if I create task lists so I don't forget, I don't leave things out, I'm getting everything done, I've accomplished that. I'm trying to be more efficient with my time, do it in a particular order, making sure the priorities remain the priorities. And what happens at the end, the more I accomplish, the more I do, the more efficient I am, the more I learn how to do things better with greater influence or whatever it is. At the end of the day, it just will never be enough. All it does is result in my increased fatigue and weariness, right? At the end of the day, you can have a great weekend like we just had, and I am emotionally poured out, physically tired, yet there's another Sunday I have got to be prepared for with all of its own set of expectations. And maybe you feel the same way about clocking in at your job, or maybe you have young children at home and you're in the diaper stage. I remember being in the diaper stage with our girls and like, oh man, when are we ever going to get out of this stage? Or you're happy to get out of that stage, but what does it require? It requires potty training, right? That is the bane of parenting, is going through that potty training stage, and how frustrating it is. It's 2 steps forward, 1 step backward, and it's just so hard. And you think, when will this ever be over? But then anybody else in this live stream who is in a later season of life, you look back and like, oh, the days when our children were little, right? Because now they're all grown, and we see how fleeting those days were, and they just pass so quickly, and we long back for those things. Every experience we have in the moment feels like the treadmill. When will it ever end? And the reality is, as Solomon tells us, that season will pass, but the next season will, in many ways, feel the same. So if we try to think and convince ourselves that our current season of life is, I'm just need to get through this to get to the next season, because the next season is going to be better. It's going to be great. It really is going to satisfy. We are always going to be frustrated. The next season just going to feel like this season. It's just different. It's different. It's the same kind of different. The same different as, I don't know. There's a phrase that I'm thinking of that I'm not quoting right. And so the reality is, we have to accept that limitation. We accept that, I can't, just by getting more things done isn't going to buy me more sense of accomplishment, satisfaction, and so on. That sense, that inner core longing, it's just going to increase my frustration. Because it's always going to be a little bit out of reach. And that's what Solomon is telling us. So accepting my limits teaches me to slow down and make more or enjoy more about what my current season of life is bringing me, or my current week, or my current day. And accepting those limits reduces the frustration that we experience, because we always think that thing we really want is just out of reach. Okay, just enjoy today for what it is. That's step one, accept our limits. And step two is really sink our teeth into or drink deeply from that which truly satisfies. And we have the benefit of the New Testament. So Jesus tells us this in no uncertain terms, what truly satisfies. And he uses two examples that I can think of off the top of my head, or at least I thought of this morning, was Jesus is sitting at the well talking, this is in John chapter 4, sitting at the well in Samaria talking to the woman, and he is using this water that she is drawing out of this well as an illustration of something. There's something greater. He says, if everyone who drinks this water, Jesus said, you're going to get thirsty again. And this is the picture of the same thing of Ecclesiastes 1. It's this idea of there is limitation to what we experience today. It's never truly going to satisfy. Jesus says, those who drink from this well will be thirsty again. But if they drink from the water that I give them, they will never thirst. Just a couple of chapters later in John chapter 6, Jesus feeds the multitude with, a couple of loaves of bread and some fish. Feeds thousands of people. This great miracle, and they're seeking him again. And he says this to them. Basically the same message he told the woman at the well. He says, I am the bread of life. He who comes to me will never go hungry. He will never hunger again. He who believes in me will never thirst. And both of these messages teach us that only in Jesus, only through our drinking deeply from him and God's Holy Spirit in us can we truly find satisfaction for today, living on what feels like sometimes the treadmill of life. We have to stop, slow down, recognize our limitations, and drink deeply from Jesus. That is the only way that we can truly find satisfaction. Jesus tells us this, and understand that the people that he was telling this to, nobody really got it. And I don't want to say that they were lacking knowledge, because we don't get it either. Okay, so he's talking to the woman at the well, and he gives her this, if you drink from me, it'll be like water will be like a spring in you, welling up to eternal life. And she goes, well, give me some of this water, because I don't like coming to this well every day. She misses his point initially. Same with the people who are seeking him out for bread. He says, I'm the bread of life. You come to me, you'll never go hungry. You come to me, believe in me, you're never going to thirst. And they basically come right back to the material, temporal bread. He's like, well, Moses fed us bread in the desert. Why don't you give us some more bread? We just keep feeding us, Jesus. And he goes, man, you're thinking about food that perishes, he says. And so they kind of miss the point too. And we do the same thing. We miss it. We spend our entire life striving for that which is always going to be just out of reach. We're always going to feel dissatisfied with our current season. We're always going to feel dissatisfied with today. We're always going to draw the conclusion, like the writer of Ecclesiastes, that we're on the big treadmill of life, the hamster wheel of life, and so what's the point? I can't make the crooked straight. I can't grab a hold of something that's not there. And Jesus, the writer of Ecclesiastes and Jesus tells us that's built right in. I want you to feel that longing, because I am the only one that can satisfy that core longing that is in you. I put that in you so that you would seek me and find your satisfaction in me. And so this morning in particular, just concentrated on slowing down and just enjoying the presence of Jesus, drinking deeply from Jesus, and asking him to fill my heart, fill my soul with his presence, with his living water, with his bread, that I might understand more deeply that which truly satisfies. And it's not a tangible thing. It's not something you can actually grab a hold of, but it does satisfy. I have a whole different perspective in this moment, I can just tell you, than I did when I first woke up. When I first woke up and I was feeling the hamster wheel, okay? I was reading chapter 1 and going, yep, that's what it feels like. And by the time I finished my time with the Lord, completely different perspective. And drinking deeply from Jesus, and walking out my front door to come here, and I'm just seeing this sunrise, and it almost brings tears to my eyes. because of just enjoying the gift of who God is and his presence in my life. So I just want to encourage you with those words. Slow down, accept our limits, and drink deeply from Jesus every single day. He's the only one who truly satisfies. Lord bless you today. We'll see you again tomorrow morning.